Byron Buxton is incredible. That and so much more on today's episode of Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On Minnesota Twins podcast. It is a Sunday special. Today is Sunday, April 10th. I'm your gracious host, Nash Walker. Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online is where the game starts. Again, I'm Nash Walker. Been writing at Twins Daily for over 2 years. Been hosting this podcast for over 2 years. And I'm so excited to tell you that the Twins got their first win today. They went over the Seattle Mariners at Target Field. We had an episode after opening day Friday. We didn't talk about Saturday's loss. We'll talk a little bit about Saturday's loss, and then we'll get into the win today. First, I want to show you the first of what will be many, many, many Byron Buxton highlights in 2022.
Get it done if he doesn't. A high fly to deep left field. Buxton turns on one into the third deck.
Now, unfortunately, that home run was wiped off the board in about 10 minutes. Tyler Duffy blew this game on Saturday. And, I figured Rocco was going to go to either Tyler Duffy or Emilio Pagan for the ninth inning in yesterday's game. The Twins were down a lot of the day. Chris Flexen set down 16 straight Twins. Figured Rocco would go to Duffy or Pagan. I was fine with his decision to go to Tyler Duffy in that spot. They traded their closer on opening day, and they're going to need guys to step up. Now, it doesn't mean it's, when if they keep blowing saves and they're unable to get those final three outs, then there's not any question that trade hurt them massively in 2022. It was one blown save. I know there's going to be overreactions because it was the second day of the season, but it was one blown save. And I will say, this offense in the first two games, it didn't really do anything at all, right? They hit a $133 through the first two games, and they still were in those games, lost by a run in each of them. So it was actually incredible that they were even close, I think, to taking those games. They had a lead in the ninth inning of Saturday's game, and then Friday they had many opportunities on opening day to get across some runs against Robbie Ray, the Cy Young winner from 2021. What was very important was to come out and win on Sunday. You don't want to start 0-3. Starting 0-2, it's like sucks, but you can't start 0-3. It's a guaranteed series loss at that point at home in a 4-game set against Seattle, a team that the Twins will be competing with this summer for a wild card spot. If that's where they're heading, which I'm hopeful it is, Seattle's going to be in that mix. You can see why. Their lineup: Mitch Haniger, Jesse Winker, Ty France, Adam Frazier's beaten the Twins a few times this weekend. They have a good lineup, and they have good starting pitching at the top with Robbie Ray and Logan Gilbert. Marco Gonzalez went today and was shelled. The Twins shelled Marco Gonzalez today. They have a pretty good set there in Seattle, a pretty good group, and they won 90 games last year, and they got better. There's going to be some regression from giving up more runs than they scored last year and still winning 90. But I think they're going to be a good club. I think they're going to be right in the mix. Probably not in the American League West. I expect Houston to run away with that. But they're going to be in the mix, and I think the Twins will be as well. So these games are important in that retrospect. Looking back later this summer, these games can matter. Probably not. I think people try. I do this too. Look at baseball like it's football. You think of every baseball game like it's a football game. And we are 3 out of 162 into the season. We have 159 more games to play for the Twins. It's unfathomable that they play that many. But in the grand scheme, you lose a couple games to Seattle. Justin Morneau was saying it today. It's not the end of the world, but you have to bounce back. You can't go on 3, 4, 5, 6 game losing streaks consistently. And that's what the Twins did last year. They'd lose 9 out of 10. They'd lose 4 in a row. They'd lose 6 out of 8. And all of a sudden you're buried. So you have to weather that storm and make sure that your streaks of losses are not as prolonged. They lose 2 in a row. They come out today right away and punch the Mariners in the mouth. Gary Sánchez, grand slam. Byron Buxton, leadoff homer. I think Gary Sánchez can be a good player for the Twins this year. It's a contract year for Gary. He's going to be a free agent. I think there's extra motivation for him there. change of scenery. People forget how talented Gary Sánchez is. He came up and was a phenom rookie for the Yankees. He's extremely talented. Rough couple of years. There's certainly flaws in his game. I think he can help them this year. And I think he can bring some big time power to the middle of this lineup, especially against left-handed pitching. As I mentioned, hits a grand slam today. He's not the first star of the game, though. The first star of the game is Byron Buxton hitting 2 home runs in the first and second inning of this game, both off of Gonzalez. Buxton, what do you say at this point about Byron Buxton? He is an exceptional player. An exceptional player. I always say, and I'll continue to say, every single time Byron Buxton takes the field, he does something in that game to help the Twins win. It's just amazing to watch him play. I think right now, with him leading off, and Brandon mentioned this in the postcast, you can check out our postcast, quick 10-minute, 12-minute recaps every day after Twins games, live on YouTube, Locked On Sports Minnesota. You can catch those. We also post them after. Follow me on Twitter at AshWalker9. You can follow Brandon Warren as well. He mentioned Byron Buxton's leading off every day. Byron Buxton's playing center field. Byron Buxton's locked up for 7 years at least with the Twins. This is, Carlos Correa called it Buxton's team. This is Buxton's team, and it's never felt more that way. In 2019, Byron Buxton hit 9th, and it was not Buxton's team. He was just like a high upside, let's see what we get out of him after 2018. Now he's entrenched as the face of the franchise. Like, he is the guy. He's leading off. He's locked up. He's an incredible player. He's a fan favorite. Everybody loves watching him play. He is the embodiment of the Minnesota Twins right now. He's the face. You see all these graphics across the league. They're showing previews of the Twins games, or they're showing, post games. It's always Byron Buxton because he is the face of the Minnesota Twins. And Carlos Correa is kind of just his sidekick. And it's amazing to have those two players. We'll continue to talk about that all year. Correa goes deep today as well. To have those two players, the caliber of players that they are, is just amazing. I think right now, Byron Buxton, everything's behind him. The future, what his contract looks like, what free agency, is he going to get traded? It's no longer a question. He's just playing baseball, and he's playing incredible baseball. Let's talk about the Twins bullpen. More on Sunday's win after this word from betonline.net. It's your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. If you want to bet on the Twins, bet on the Twins. If you want to bet against the Twins, bet against the Twins. If you want to bet against the Yankees, bet against the Yankees. Go to betonline.net. It's your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. Check out Locked On MLB Prospects, hosted by Lindsey Crosby. He's a prospect encyclopedia going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. A pleasant surprise early on for the Twins, the bullpen. And in recent years, they've had a definite hierarchy. Going into last year, it was Colome, Duffy, Rogers on the back end. Then you had your B group with Thielbar, and Stashak was supposed to mix in there. You had a couple other arms that were shuffling in and out. Randy Domek was your long guy going into 2021. I don't know if there's really a hierarchy in this group. There's a hierarchy. It's very loose. Tyler Duffy's high leverage. We know that. But after Saturday, you could see him pitch in the 6th and 7th inning, especially because Yohan Duran was so good on opening day and so poised. You could see him pitch later in games. I don't think there's a set hierarchy. I think they're comfortable with Jorge Alcala, Yohan Duran, Tyler Duffy, Emilio Pagan, Caleb Thielbar, even Danny Coulomb, Joe Smith, who's been there, done that a million years. I think they're comfortable with all these guys pitching late in games. And what it's going to come down to this year is those guys performing. First of all, they need to come through and get outs. But how Rocco manages this bullpen is super important, and how he matches it up is super important. I think so far they've done a really, really nice job. I think letting Bailey Ober go 5 today was a good decision to save the bullpen. You probably save Yohan Duran. Maybe they weren't going to let him go today anyway, and they need to watch him and keep him healthy as best they can. But I like that they would let Bailey go 5, let him regroup after the Haniger homer, and Seattle bounced back and got back into this game. I was scared. I think Twins fans were scared. but Ober bounced back, put it behind him. Wasn't his best day command-wise. Didn't have the fastball command. Excuse me. The stuff was there, 92, 93 at the fastball, but just didn't have the command. The command on the slider was iffy. Wasn't getting as many swings and misses. Changeup looked good early on, but then he was yanking it. Not a good start for Bailey Ober, but he finished well, and that's important. He gave him 5 innings, and he got the win today. And the Twins definitely backed him up, especially in that first inning, putting 6 on the board in the first 2 innings and getting Gonzalez out of that game. It makes tomorrow look a little bit different as well because they did get into the Mariners bullpen. They beat it up a little bit today, and I love this part of the game. The Twins last year and the Twins in 2020, if they would have scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings of a game, they're done. They're done. It's over. The offense shuts down at that point. I texted my dad after the second inning. I said, this is when the offense would usually shut down. They didn't today. They scored another run in the third on a Max Kepler homer. Scored another run in the fourth on a Polanco homer. Scored another run in the sixth on a Correa homer. A lot of homers, but they're runs. And then they tacked on another in the 7th and put this game out of reach. I loved seeing that from the offense. No complacency. 6-4. You got punched in the mouth. Max Kepler hits a homer. This is what needs to happen this year. Guys need to step up. And we knew that. Max Kepler needs to step up. Miguel Sano needs to step up. He's 0 for 10. Alex Kirilloff needs to step up. He's been struggling. These guys are going to get their chances. Gary Sánchez with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the first inning needed to bust this game open. They needed to. And he did. He comes through with a grand slam. Guys are going to need to come through this year. It's going to have to happen more often than it doesn't because this team needs every win they can get. They need to come through. These guys need to show up and step up. And I think so far, at least today, you see what happens when they do. This offense can be super lethal. When you start with Buxton and Correa and Polanco in the top 3 spots, great to see Polo get into one today as well. And the last couple of days, not great swings, but vintage Polo homer today to right field on a 95 fastball in his hands. He's just such a good hitter. Jorge Polanco is such a good hitter, and he's criminally underrated across baseball. You start Buxton, Correa, Polanco. Gio Urshela has played really well, I think, offensively. Hasn't had many chances defensively. Looks good at the plate. Walked a couple times today, singled. Good bat-to-ball skills. Hit a homer on opening day. I think Gio's going to be a nice addition. Sanchez and Urshela have impressed me so far. I think they're playing loosely. I think they're also putting together good at-bats, and I'm excited to see what they can do this year for the Twins. Let's talk about tomorrow's series finale and what to look for this week from the Twins after this word from Built Bar. This is the time of year I've pretty much given up on all my New Year's resolutions, but not this year. I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. Have you tried the Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting flavors. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, they're not just a protein bar, they're a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors, yummy cinnamon churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie, so good. These are going to be your new favorite. They're not just delicious, they're healthy. Go to Built.com, scroll down to the macros chart. You'll see most Built Bars contain 130 calories and just 4 grams of net carbs with 17 grams of protein. You can get your hands on these beautiful bars. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Looking forward, Twins are favorites again tomorrow. I'm somewhat surprised. Dylan Bundy, Twins debut against Chris Flexen, who put together a really nice year for the Mariners in 2021. The Mariners, somewhat of a team of destiny in the regular season last year. They outperformed some of their peripheral numbers. Chris Flexen is not an exception to that. Phipps says he should have been more of a 4 ERA than a 3.50. Not a huge difference, but in the long run makes a difference, and it changes how you kind of view someone's season. Not going to blow anybody away. He's 92, 93 the fastball, solid changeup. Throws a slider. He's a right-handed mid-rotation to back rotation starter. Exactly the type of guy the Twins should be hitting and hitting well. And if they have a start like they did today, they're going to win a lot of ball games. And it doesn't have to be a grand slam, but just coming out, quick punches, like just one run here, 1 run there, 2 runs there. There's 2, and all of a sudden you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're stacking runs. And that's what the Twins need to do and get Dylan Bundy some run support. I worry about Bundy in certain matchups. I worry about him in the Jesse Winker matchup. We're a little bit in the JP Crawford matchup. Twins have had trouble getting Crawford out in this series at times. Mitch Haniger has been crushing them. Can't hang sliders or, groove first pitch fastballs to Mitch Haniger. He'll pump you. Ty France is a great hitter. I worry about him at the top of this lineup. If you can give me 5 innings of 3-run ball, the Twins bullpen's pretty rested right now. That would be great. And you would take that all day. Like if you said to me right now, there's no other alternative. You get 5 innings, 3 earned runs from Dylan Bundy. I would say, yeah, I'm taking that. I'm taking that all day long because I do think this offense will have a chance to score a lot of runs tomorrow against Chris Flexen and a Mariners bullpen now. It's a little beat up after today. So I'm confident in this matchup for the offense. Dylan Bundy, wait and see. I hope he's not like Matt Shoemaker was in the opener against Seattle last year, but you never know. We'll see what happens with Dylan Bundy. Hopefully he gives them a chance to win. Twins then have the Dodgers for 2, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday looks like rain, so may not play Tuesday, but it's supposed to be Andrew Heaney taking on Chris Archer and then Paddock against Clayton Kershaw in the second game. Then the Twins go to Fenway, so it doesn't get any easier. Here's your goal if you're the Twins. If they end up playing both games against the Dodgers, I think they might have a doubleheader Wednesday. If you get out of this homestand 3-3, you're feeling good. You're feeling good. You split 6 games against, the best team in the world. I think comfortably the best team in the world in the Dodgers and a Mariners team that, like I said, is hoping to contend. And you face the American League Cy Young winner and an up-and-coming right-hander in Logan Gilbert, a former top prospect who hums it. You feel solid coming out of this 3-3 and going to Fenway and hopefully can split that series. So if they come out of this week, and we'll have episodes all week for you breaking these games down, I'm not going anywhere. If we get out of this week, I want to come back to this on Sunday night. You get out of this week and you are 5-5. If you're 5-5 leaving Fenway, I think that's pretty good. You split 10 games, you got 4 on the road, and that's the Red Sox home opening series. If you can split that, that'd be nice. If you can split the Dodgers series, that'd be nice. If you can win tomorrow, that's a split with the Mariners. You split all 3 and you're 4-4. And this schedule lightens up a lot in May. And my prediction, so I made a very optimistic projection sheet, and I'll pull it up on the show pretty soon here. And probably this week, I'll show you. It's how the Twins can get to 90 wins series by series, like predictions for each series. And then I keep track of how many games up and down they are for my predictions. To give you a sneak peek, I have them winning 90 games on that chart, and that should be good enough to make the playoffs. That's why it's 90. I have them going 11-11 in April. So it's a tough month for them. One of their toughest months of the year is April. I think August is their next toughest, and May gets light. I think they have Baltimore and they got Kansas City, and it's going to be lighter in May. But April, I got to find a way to. I say weather the storm a lot, but I think April is going to be a weathering the storm kind of month for them. And winning today was a good step to splitting this series, recovering after losing the first 2. This could have gotten out of hand. And certainly they could have blown that game. All of a sudden you're looking at a sweep with Dylan Bundy going tomorrow. But now we got some momentum. The offense woke up. Now we have a chance to go split this thing. Hope with the Dodgers at home helps that series is at home. Then go to Fenway and play your best ball. The rotation gets back up to the top, and you'll have options with Joe Ryan and Sonny Gray at Fenway. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, please call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Again, if you want to listen to Brandon Warren and I, Access Twins, writer, reporter, podcaster Brandon Warren, break down these games with me, you can subscribe at Locked On Sports Minnesota. After every game, right after the final pitch, we're jumping on. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Go Twins. Hope you enjoyed this blasting Mariners on Sunday. I hope I'm talking to you after a Twins win Monday night. Thank you so much. Have a great day.